Alright, to start off with tail setup, now what I do is, let me get my transmitter back on. It doesn't need to be an idle up, so you can leave that switch back, and you don't need the throttle stick in the middle. You can leave it all the way down. All you need is to make sure the switch is up and this dial is in the middle. So long as you make sure that, then what you're going to want to do is you actually want to disconnect your tail servo from the gyro, as in unplug it from there, then unplug the gyro from your receiver, and then go ahead and plug your tail servo directly into channel 4 on the receiver. Then go ahead and plug the helicopter in. And let it initialize here for a second. Now the reason I do it this way is because you want to make sure that this servo right here, the servo arm, is perfectly 90 degrees to the servo, or in the case of the ESky radio system, is close to 90 degrees as you can get it. Now when you have it connected to the gyro, the slightest movement of the helicopter is going to make the tail servo move. But if you bypass the gyro, now it doesn't matter how much the helicopter moves, that's not going to move unless you move the rudder stick. And after you've got your servo arm as close to 90 degrees as you can get it, just need to check for servo direction to make sure it's moving in the proper direction. So when you go left rudder stick, you want that servo arm to go towards the right. Now if it wasn't, you'd want to go into right here on the bottom of the transmitter for your rudder. Just change that down. But initially mine are up, up, down, up. And that's all the control is, that everything works properly. So, but anyways, so now that I know that my servo is going in the right direction, the next thing I need to do is just make sure that the pitch slider here is in the middle. And to adjust the pitch slider back here, what you're going to need to do is loosen the mounts for your tail servo. Alright, so then you can see you can move the whole servo. Now when you move the whole servo forward or backwards, it's going to move the linkage back here. Alright, so what you're going to want to do is position the servo up or down the boom till you get your pitch slider directly in the middle, and you should also have no pitch on these tail blades. And then once you think that you've got that as close to the middle as you can get it, go ahead and tighten up the mounts for your tail servo. Alright, now after you've made sure that your servo is operating in the right direction and you've got your tail pitch slider as close to being in the middle as you can get it, then you can go ahead and unplug the helicopter and plug the tail servo back into the gyro, plug the gyro back into the receiver, and then we'll go through and check for gyro direction. Alright, tail servo is plugged back into the gyro, gyro is plugged back into the receiver. All my wires are zip tied back up. So now to check for the gyro direction. Now the easiest way to do this is what you're going to do is take the back of the tail boom here, with the helicopter sitting just like this, and you want to jerk the tail boom towards you. And when you do that, you're going to want to see this tail servo arm go backwards. So let me see if I can zoom in on that a little bit better, and I will show you. Alright. So hopefully you can see that when I jerk it backwards, or when I jerk the tail towards me, you see the tail servo arm move backwards. So now if that went forwards, what you would do is on the other side of the gyro, little switch says normal, reverse, and mine's on normal, but if it was going backwards, I'd just switch that to reverse and then unplug the helicopter, plug it back in, let the gyro initialize, and then check, and if it was reversed before, flipping the switch will reverse it to the proper direction. Alright, one last thing is the limit. That's this little dial right here on the gyro. The limit is basically the gyro limits how far the tail servo moves. Pretty simple. So what you do is move back here to the tail. Alright. Now you move your rudder stick all the way to one side or the other. Alright. Now if for some reason this doesn't go far enough, you're going to increase the limit on the gyro. Now, if this goes so far that you hear the tail servo buzzing, you're going to want to decrease the limit so that way it doesn't throw the pitch slider out so far. And then just make sure that on both left and right that it doesn't bind up at all and that you're getting full movement.